Hello everybody, Joe here with Garden of Luma. If you guys have not checked out my blog yet, definitely go check that out at gardenofluma.com. I give you guys a lot of great tips for growing fruit trees, tropical fruit trees, desert gardening, gardening specifically for hot climates. So there's just a lot of good info on there. So definitely give that a look. Today I'm going to give you guys a tour of my backyard here in the winter time. It's February. And I was a little hesitant to do this video because in wintertime, the trees don't look the best, right? But I want to show you guys, you know, the good as well as the bad and just everything in between, just to be real and open. You know, sometimes our trees don't look great, but that's just part of growing in different types of conditions. So just to give you guys a little bit of perspective of where I'm coming from in my gardening journey, I started gardening in the Phoenix, Arizona area, the desert climate, zone 9B, in 2011. And I moved into my current residence in 2016. So at that time, most of this stuff was newly planted. The winter of 2016 in December is when I moved in. So that just gives you guys kind of a timeline about how long most of these trees and things have been growing for. I did bring a few container plants over with me when I moved into the house, so some of that is a little bit older than that, but for the most part, most of it was planted in the winter time of 2016. So I'm going into spring of 2019. So let me show you guys what it looks like. All right, just to start off real quick, here is one of my Canistil seedlings that I started last year. I like to start a few different projects every year, and this is one I did last year. I planted a few different seeds. I've done a few different videos on these guys on how they've taken the cold weather here. And so here's one in the ground. I'll show you guys my mangoes first, my in-ground mangoes. So this is a Gary mango, and this one was more recently planted. So I planted this in fall of 2017, so it's a little bit younger than some of my other trees. As you can see, I do have the frost protection out here. It's open. We've been a little bit warmer the last few days, so I've been able to open it up. I thought maybe that'd be the end of our cold snaps, but it looks like we have another one coming in next week, so I'll probably have to protect everything up again. Unfortunately, we've been really cold this winter here in the Phoenix, Arizona area. Hit 20 degree, mid 20s a few nights, and just, yeah, we've had a lot of cold weather. So there's the Gary mango, and as you can see, it wants to start pushing out flowers, but it's been kind of back and forth on whether or not it should because of the weather changes. Next to it, I'll show you the other side. Okay, back in here is my kit mango tree. Let's see that there, just kind of sprawled out. I have a big tall thing of lemongrass here that I need to chop back, so it's kind of protecting this guy a bit. And I have had some mangoes off of this. So this one was purchased in spring of 2016. It's a little bit older. And last year I let it produce a few mangoes for the first time. I had 5 mangoes off of this. This is an Ida Maraca mango. So this one has been grown from seed, and it's gotten quite large. This one I also purchased in 2016. It was about a foot tall when I purchased it, so this guy has grown quite a bit. Okay, so here's one of the sad sights here. This is my Peruvian white guava. As you can see, the cold is really beating this guy up. But you can still see a lot of green from the bottom there, so I am totally confident this will grow back as soon as we warm up, and I have seen some starts of new growth popping out on this as well. Next to it is my dwarf mulberry, dwarf everbearing mulberry, and if you can see here, this guy is starting to leaf out now, coming out of winter dormancy. Here are my two major raised beds that I have. And it's pretty thinned out right now. I am starting to pull some of this stuff and get ready for spring planting here, but I still have some beets left in here, lettuce, fava beans, fennel growing, dill, kale, a little bit of spinach left over there. Here is a black mission fig, still completely dormant. And I did transplant this guy into this 35-gallon container here. I'm gonna try this year. These cheaper containers, they are more rectangular shaped, and the reason for that is because when I move some of my containers around, when they get in these larger containers, it's really a challenge with the dolly to move it around in the round shaped containers. I'm going to try these rectangular containers here. And then I also have a couple fig starts that I'm growing inside that I've rooted from cuttings. So I'm going to try this year to grow a Peter's Honey as well as a Violet Day Bordeaux in containers to go along with this. Figs do great here in a hot, dry climate like the desert. Parfianca pomegranate here, still not quite awake yet. And then my Sherwood Jujube, which I cut back quite a bit. This guy grows just very vigorous and rapidly. And so this guy's still asleep. One of my African Pride Ademoya seedlings here. It has started to shed some of its leaves here. Looking a little beat up from the winter time, but overall I'm surprised it has this many leaves right now, because it's pretty common for these guys to shed its leaves just before it starts flushing new growth. My early grande peach tree here, I did a pruning video recently on this. You can see all the flowers on this guy. So I'm hoping to have a pretty good crop of peaches this year. We've definitely had the chill hours for stone fruits this year. I was looking on the chill hours that I've had so far. I've been about 600 hours so far, which is hours below 45 degrees. And so last year I compared, I was only around like 320. So it's been quite a bit colder this year. Here is my Caracar Navel Orange. Looking pretty green and healthy right now. Here is my Subel White Sapote. And next to that here I have a Sprite Delight Cherry Plum, which is also bare. This is usually one of the last things to wake up in my yard. And so that is completely bare right now. My blueberries are dormant. I'm starting to see some budding on that though. This is the first year they've totally dropped their leaves since it's been so cold. Last year the leaves did change colors and everything, but didn't completely drop. This year, since we've been extra cold, it completely defoliated and should be leafing out again here soon. I do see buds and stuff forming. There's some there on the ends. So it's getting ready to leaf back out here soon. My blackberries growing through here, Rosboro blackberries. There's a sugar apple seedling tucked in there. You can see the cold really beat that guy up. And there's also a mango seedling growing in here, which surprisingly that looks pretty good still. So that's handled the cold. I did not protect that or cover that at all. Going along the wall here, Indonesian seedless guava, which is also taken a big beating from the cold, but I have seen signs of growth on some of these branches and stuff here, so it'll definitely recover. My Bradenton loquat. This is another one that is a little bit younger. I planted this in the fall of 2017. You want to get these guys in the ground in the fall, in the cooler months. They can handle our cold here. And it's putting out a lot of new growth, as you can see. My Tikal Sapodilla. This guy's still looking pretty good. One of my other Canistel seedlings there. Alright, my Mayor Lemon is looking very sad. Pretty beat up here. Has not liked the cold. And is overall not looking too great. So hopefully this guy will bounce back here. I had a ton of lemons on this tree too this winter. My Barbados Cherry here growing in a container. My Barbie Pink Guava. This guy has a few guavas on it, which I tend to like the spring crop of guavas a little bit better than the summer crop. These guava trees tend to fruit twice a year. And as you can see, my in-ground guavas took quite a beating, so they don't have any fruit on them at all. So it'll just be a summer crop for them. Here's my Jamaican cherry in the container, which has continued to put out fruit throughout the winter. My other Adamoya here in a container, which has lost a lot more leaves than the in-ground one. Kind of scraggly looking. There is my beat up looking papaya. Don't know if this will come back or not. It still looks pretty green up there up top, so we'll see. I've had this guy growing for a couple years and was thinking this would be the last year anyways for this tree, because they don't really last very long in our climate as it is, and they are rapid growing trees. So I was either going to replace this anyways next year, because as you can see, it's filling that container up quite a bit. You know, that container is probably too small for this tree. Here is my Kerry Mango, which is also trying to flower, but it's been confused whether or not it should. My red hybrid Jabba de Caba, which was another experimental for last year from seed. A slow growing tree. My Canistel in the container from last year. Here's my sugar apple tree. My soursop, I recently put this in a bigger pot, and as you can see, this guy is pretty beat up. So, let me see if I can get a little closer to some of these leaves. You can see the cold really has not made this tree happy. This is my most tropical tree in the yard, and so a few nights I didn't get it indoors like I should have when it got pretty cold, and it's kind of suffered because of that. But I do think this guy will recover and bounce back and re-leaf out once we get warm. And then lastly here is my Silas Wood Sapodilla, which is looking really good here in the container. Alright, so thanks for watching. I will do another one of these updates in April when everything looks green and healthy at that point, because we will be nice and warm. Check me out at gardenofluma.com. If you like these videos, definitely subscribe, hit the like button. Thanks for watching.